New Nest Podcast 127, back for another week, back to talk about items and int carries and many more things. Marco, welcome. How you doing this week?
Doing okay. Had better weeks in the game, in the world of Dota, but otherwise doing good.
Nice. So is that through gritted teeth?
Gritted teeth.
Yeah. Adam, likewise, how are you? We've dragged you out of bed at an ungodly hour to record, not our usual Thursday night.
It's 10:50. That's in the morning. That's a totally fine hour.
So reflection on myself, evidently, not you. That I would consider that an ungodly hour.
Yeah, all I'll say is that I've had weeks in Dota. Not this week, but most other weeks I've had them in Dota. Not this one. So.
Yeah, well.
But I did get my gaming chair. I got my gaming chair. Ooh. And I'm fully moved in, and once the house stops having all this flooring tore up, I can play again.
Wow.
I don't want to subject everybody to nail guns and compressors and sanders and saws.
Do you know, I would ask you what type of chair you have, but I would have no idea. Do you have one of those ones with the movable thing that slides up and down the back of your chair?
That sounds advanced.
I don't think so. It's Maxnomic DX Racer, but it's also like 5-year-old gamer chair technology. So I don't know, it might not be all the bells and whistles that the streamers nowadays are using.
That sounds good. I mean, my one I don't actually like anymore. It's got one big design flaw that I don't like. It. So if I lean back and forward, it like tips. The base of the chair where you actually sit isn't solid. And so I feel like I'm being tipped forward when I lean forward, and I really don't like that. Maybe I need to tighten up some screws or something, but anyway. We'll have to do gaming chair corner every week, I guess. Yeah. Marco, what's your setup looking like? How comfortable are you?
Not very comfortable. It's a pretty old, shitty office-esque chair that is kind of broken. I've taken the plunge and emailed for an office equipment to be sent to me because I'm like, this is too shit. Send me like something that's actually working.
Yeah, I'm tempted by that as well. We have at our work, you can request all sorts of equipment stuff. Maybe I should have a flick through the catalogue, but there we are. If you could have one Dota item in real life, what would it be? This is a question submitted by the Magic Tea.
My instant answer is teleport scroll.
Well, surely boots of travel. Then.
Good shout, yeah, boots of travel.
Yeah. Adam, any advances on BOT? Tempted by Blink Dagger?
Swift Arcane Blink, I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah. That would be
I don't know
good.
what cast points of mine are getting, increased, or getting decreased, it's not like I have, cast points already.
Cooking
so just be bringing a Diet Coke up to my face faster.
I think there would be some epic ones for sure. Scythe of Vice would be quite fun.
Nullify.
What about Hannah Midas?
Yeah, just get rich.
Yeah. What am I transmuting though? Like animals?
Yeah.
Or
humans?
Probably just needs to be inanimate objects. You don't want to murder people for 190 gold.
Yeah. What about Battle Fury? Your punches and kicks cleave. That'd be quite fun. Imagine that. Take on multiple people.
Yeah, useful skill.
Yeah, you could definitely have a top boxing career with something like, well, any of the items, I guess, but like Heaven's Halberd, just prevent them from punching you and just have 5 seconds to just punch them as much as you want.
Go for a PMA Philosopher's Stone it's not hurting anyone, it's just kind of passive income, steady.
Yeah, I was thinking So I spent too long thinking about this, and I was thinking, given the COVID-19 pandemic, I was wondering Yule Scepter maybe to like Yule's off COVID. But I was wondering maybe it would need a strong dispel, so maybe you'd have to get BKB. So I wasn't sure about...
At least get the Wind Waker.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Also, the Wind Waker, 50 movement speed, always welcome. 35 int. I definitely could do with that as well.
And you can tornado other people.
Wow, yeah. Be active. Beautiful.
I wouldn't trust Stan clicking buttons, though, so slap an A on disc instead. Guaranteed. Guaranteed survival.
Aeon disc would be quite fun. You could go and like stand in front of like a bus or something, just be fine. I think Giant's Ring as well for the model 60% model scale. Just become a giant
and
unobstructed movement. Yeah. Wait, Giant's Ring's up there. Right, enough of this nonsense.
Enough.
I thought you were going to say something like Huskar's Ag Shard. Or no, Huskar's Ags or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, Necrobook. Oh, that'd be sick, actually. Maybe Necrobook.
Why?
What do you mean, why? You get an archer and like a little goblin fighter as pets.
Coffee table object.
Well, yeah, you get to use the...
ever fighting anyone?
Yeah, not
you
to
never know.
You just like it's like you're just playing. You know, you're playing football or soccer in your case, and you like pop the book, purge them so they like they're slow on their run, and you catch up or something.
For playing football, phase boot is pretty strong actually. Just glide through anyone.
Yeah, that would be quite strong. Also, 4-staff as well if you're playing football. Glimmer, so you can just dispossess someone without them seeing, and then score a goal and peel away and reappear, giving it large to the fans.
Then VAR would catch you. They would add like infrared or something.
Yeah, they'd get true sight on VAR. Yeah. That'd be tough. Yeah. But imagine Book of the Dead. I wasn't thinking to fight people with the Necro units. I was thinking, like, sell them to the zoo or something. Or, I don't know.
But they time out.
That's true, yeah. You'd have to keep resummoning on cooldown. Or off cooldown, I suppose.
Or, what about Aegis of the Immortal?
Yeah. I'd probably rather have Aeon Disc. I don't want a one-time use consumable. I want, like,
yeah, but
permanent.
If you die, you come back to life.
Yeah, but Aeon Disc, I suppose it depends at what point Aeon Disc procs. Does it proc when you, like, fall off your bike? Or does it proc, like, when you're about to die?
It does have cooldown, though. Like, it isn't one-time use, so...
True, yeah. Yeah, very good, very good. Manta dodge. Manta dodge a punch or something. Anyway. So, games. Actual Dota 2 games. Marco, myself and you have been diving in a little bit, making up for Adam's inability to play due to his current living situation. Or work situation or whatever. So, how have your games been, Marco?
I actually had kind of very tilting games, honestly. In the last couple of weeks, it's been fairly stable in terms of wins and losses. But the last few days, it's not a massive loss streak, 4 in a row, but it still feels like a big hit when, I mean, at least 3 of them were fucking griefy. The first one, I got slapped by this pseudo smurf. I don't think he was a crazy smurf, but it's a new account. I was Void Spirit, he was Quap, and I underestimated the cooldown on Dagger from Quap. And at level 5, it's like an 8 second cooldown or 6 second cooldown, and at level 7, it's 4 seconds. Underestimated that, and it just completely zoned me. Didn't get the 4-minute rune, missed the bottle fill from the base. Didn't get 6-minute rune or 8-minute rune, and just got nailed and lost his side lanes. So that's fine. We lost all lanes. I didn't play well. Take a loss. The next one, I go Quap again. This is, in my eyes, just a complete grief from our Terrorblade. He just hit jungle with his hero and his units and his illusions all game. Jungle, never once in the creep wave. So we're just 4v5. We're smashing it. Our team's so PMA, all comms. We've got Snapfire, Doc, Rubik, Quap, all this spell casting, exciting stuff, and they've got an Arc and a Troll. We're doing so much work and space, and we keep being like, yeah, this is great. We've got TV. He's going to carry us. He's got infinite space. And then we'd look and he'd just be deep in the woods. Lanes aren't pushed. We'd be like, oh, this is awkward, but we'll keep going. And he just griefed us. I don't know. I messaged Stan an awful lot after this game just because my brain exploded. Like, TB had to have been on drugs or something. Like, I don't understand. Or he just wanted to grief. I don't know. He just didn't participate in the game. And it was tilting because he would pretend as if he was playing with us. Like, he would alt-click his metamorphosis, say, 20 seconds. So everyone's like, yeah, 20 seconds, we can fight, we can go.
Yeah.
20 seconds later, when all the enemy team's like 25% HP, and then we're kind of like, wait, where's the Terrorblade? And he's TP'd to our tier 2 to go hit the woods. And we're like just losing our mind. And it happened about 5 times. If we controlled the Terrorblade hero to win, 99% win, it was that game, it should have been a win. And we got griefed so fucking hard. And this guy was just a lunatic. So that was really tilting. Another tilting loss as co-op. We're winning the game 20, 25 minutes, like Beastmaster. We actually had a good pos 3 this game, so we've been ripping a lot of pos 3s. I had a Beastmaster who did sick. Just stormed the game, all tier 2s by like 20 minutes, mid-racks 25 minutes. Stormed the game, but we lost in 64 minutes, despite me being like 10-0-10 at 25. Lost like 40 minutes later. A lot of little bitty mistakes. The Ursa played crazy good, but really the pos 1 Razor we had went Yule's Manta rather than Yule's BKB. I mean, he never got a BKB. They had a Pango, they had a SF with Hex, Yule's, Requiem. My ultimate conclusion, this depressing loss, should have been it should have been a win at 25. Like, in my head, I was like, oh, this is great, I could get 2 games in. This is a win. 25, it's a win. So easy. 64 minutes later, it's a loss. Like, it's so tilted, and largely the pos 1 just fucked us over, didn't buy BKB. So don't not do that. Don't not buy BKB.
It's like the Razor's the most core BKB hero, or one of the most core BKB heroes in the game. It's one of the few heroes you'll see in pro games where they literally go phase boots BKB.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, this hero's not a hard carry. You're not gonna scale better than an Ursa, or even a Shadow Fiend. But what is it? I've never seen a Manta on a Razor in my Dota 1, Dota 2 history. Like, what is happening? Why have you got a man? It's a fucking expensive item. Buy a BKB. And we would have been so able to close that game. Oh man. Actually, it should have been a win. It's just so annoying. And then the 4th and final loss was today. Got griefed again. Honestly, the Centaur was upset with his Wind Ranger pos 4. The Centaur then goes woods all game, doesn't use Stampede, doesn't get involved, steals farm, just completely AFK. It's 4v5. Windrunner's got 16 deaths. It's 3v5. Mid Furion dies to the pos 5 Willow 5 times.
It's 2v5.
It's 2v5. Yeah. Kottl's trying his best, super PMA on the mic, but even then he was leaking deaths at tier 1s and tier 2s. 1v5. And then, yeah, I couldn't carry this. And it was annoying because, again, like, at 10 minutes, the game's fine. I'm like 3-1-2. Furion's like doing decent, but it's just a fucking nightmare. Grief from Centaur. And yeah, that brings us to the 4 losses, and it's pretty tilting. But, you know, it happens.
Yeah, but he picked 4 Wind Rangers, so sounds like the Centaur was allowed to do what he did. Smiley face.
Nah. Honestly, it's so annoying. Interesting.
I was with you on the first sentence of just, my 3 Centaur was frustrated with my 4 Wind Ranger, and I'm like, yeah, I believe that. And then it went off the rails.
Yes, yeah. He just literally went woods and lane creeps and just farmed like a pos 1 really hard. He got like way more CS than I have at the end of the game, but I mean, it's a grief. We can't win when he's playing like that. And funnily enough,
that's not even that bad of a lane, because you actually can like chain the shackle into a stomp and actually get kills. Usually, like, the Wind Ranger doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but it should have been fine. Windrunner somehow just fed 1-16-4. I mean, it was just so annoying to play these games that it feels like people are ruining by crying or just griefing. It really, really triggering. Funnily, at the end of that one, I got called by the Centaur when I was like having a big rant. He called me fake PMA. I was
Fake
like, how do
PMA.
you have fake PMA? Like, is it PMA or is it NMA? Pretty sure I'd be PMA.
Fake PMA, I love that. That's entering my Dota vocabulary immediately. I can fake PMA gamers.
I think I was too naive that game because it was my first of the day, and I was in the lane in, like, fucking 6 minutes in, I'm trying to babysit the centaur, and my first death in the lane is because I'm typing and I get out of position and the pit lord punch get on me. Like, 100% I die because I'm not focused, out of position typing. So that, I mean, it's fucking annoying, but I still kind of keep going in my own game, try and babysit this fat child for like 20 minutes, and he just griefs us by going AFK, and at the end of the game, when I'm like, dude, you're a dick, Windrunner's a shit player with 16 deaths, but you also didn't help, and then he calls me fake PMA for having a go. Oh, it's fucking so tilting.
You could at least press Stampede.
Yeah, I had a death when, if he presses Stampede 5-10 seconds earlier, I don't die. I've got 4 deaths, so 2 of the 4 already pure Centaur. But yeah, fucking dick. So, just so annoying, these games on it. Sorry for the negativity.
That's right, I'm about to bring it back.
Yeah, you can bring it back.
With some greens. Listeners will recall that last episode, I discovered mid-episode that I had a 13 win streak on Meepo, and called with utter certainty that was a guaranteed loss next game. And turns out I was wrong. It was 3 guaranteed losses in a row. So, 0-3 on Meepo since discovering I was 13-0, which, oh man, basically the moral of the story is I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, mentally, there's something wrong with me for that to occur. But anyway, let's gloss over that. Underlord win saves me from the 3-game slide on Meepo. That was a win with Dynamic, big friend of the pod, who always saves me with party wins. I played a single draft game as Gyrocopter against, like, what we described as the tier 2 talent stack. So this is Nomad and Wepaz, Mo Farah, 707, and then some other guy that I don't know the name, that I don't recognize. And I played Gyro, and it was maybe one of the worst Gyro performances you'll ever see in your life. It was awful. I don't know how to play Gyro actively, so people pick this Gyro hero as, you know, I understand in theory you've got Rocket Barrage and you've got cooldown, so you should be able to fight. You know, you're not a hard carry that only has, you know, right clicks and right click bust that need to scale. But in practice, every time I try and get involved, I die. And I try and AFK farm, and I was trying to AFK farm this whole game, and my net worth's just abysmal all game. I don't understand. It's like I was getting half gold from creeps, and then also I kept getting sniped by a Nyx assassin, which is never good, because Gyro versus Nyx is very rough. And by the time I got BKB, I was too far behind. I think I should have just gone BKB like really early. I went, what item did I go actually? I think I went Maelstrom BKB actually. So I did go very early BKB.
That's alright, it's just when BKB is 30 minutes in the game. It's 30
minutes into the game. It's a little bit slow. So that was the worst game of Gyro ever played. And then beyond that, I've got more ranked games, loss on TA, that sucks, and then loss on Meepo, and then at that point I was 4 solo ranked losses in a row, or maybe even 5. 1, 2, 3... 4. I was 5 solo ranked losses in a row. Okay, that's pretty rough. But then recently been saved. I got a win on Puck, always good. And then 3 on the bounce. Most recently, a win on Necro, a win on Crystal Maiden, and a win on Void Spirit. So I'll just cover the Necro game quickly because Dota Buff have an article saying Necrophos, the worst hero in Dota right now. And Necro's not even one of my all-pick heroes, but I knew I was going to be against a Storm in lane, and I always think of Necro as really good against Storm in the lane, because it's really hard for him to get any CS without eating a Q and like 2 right clicks, and you can always sort of dodge his Q. So I've always liked that matchup, so I went for it. In this game we had a Lina, POS 4 Lina. Oh my word, I've never seen a POS 4 Lina carry a game so hard. So this Lina is 14... 9 and 13, 16k net worth, so that's 505 GPM. BOT, I think yours. I would look at the blinking graph, but the servers, like the EU servers, are down, so you can't see graphs or replays anymore, which is really annoying. Anyway, yours BOT, E-Blade, Aetherlens, Kaya. Oh my word. E-Blade and the ult is just so much damage from a POS 4, especially combined with Necro ult. So in this game against Storm and Weaver, I would just Necro a hero on full HP, and then would get an E-Blade ult from Lena, and they die from Necro. So we caught Weaver on full HP about 3 times, and I was just like, why is this not in every game? It's just too easy.
Kaya plus the ceremonial robe, 10% lower magic resistance. So that's some nice damage there.
Yeah, that was a hard carry from Lena.
Why don't you have a Grimstroke?
I know.
Oh, I imagine that.
I know, yeah. That's definitely something for the lab. That's something for the unranked lab. And then the final game I'll go over is this Crystal Maiden for 2 reasons. One, because this is like my immortal Crystal Maiden game. This is like the God's clinic Crystal Maiden game. And I'm taking a lot of credit here, but I don't really deserve to, because I'm CM and I'm against a Beastmaster in lane, and Beastmaster decides to summon Boars off cooldown. So that's all you need to know. But we absolutely crushed the lane super, super hard. You know, my Weaver's level 7, I'm level 6, my Weaver's level 7, and this Beastmaster's like level 4, and their support sniper. Yeah, it
all
is.
Off of Boar 8 XP.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know. It was incredible. And I felt good as well, because I picked CM first pick because I saw that they had a Beastmaster spammer on Dota Plus. So that's some Dota Plus value right there. But then beyond that, Ags, BKB, 4-staff, and I got a really sick Ags BKB ult where we were kind of diving them around their tier 4 area, and they're all, or not around their tier 4 area, they're Radiant and they're defending their top set of racks. And we kind of go in with Clock and with Centaur and Weaver, so that's obviously a lot of gap close, and when that happens, they obviously kite backwards, like towards their fountain, because they've got heroes like Sniper and stuff. So as they're kiting back towards their fountain, I like 4-staff in and then blink to almost the entrance to their fountain and BKB and ult, and then they're stuck, they're like sandwiched, they either walk through my ult back to the fountain, or they have to turn and fight against our lineup, so they can't kite back anymore. And I was tearing up at that ult, honestly.
Art of War right there, burning the bridge, forcing the fight.
There you go, beautiful. We also had a Centaur that went Vanguard Blink Dagon 5. He rushed Dagon 5 after Vanguard Blink, which was very Hood Blink, Hood Blink. So he went Hood, Blink, Dagon 5, which was...
E-Blade as well.
Yeah, with E-Blade. It was such a weird build, but it seemed to work pretty well in this game. Mid-Centaur, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of damage.
You're aided by, it seems the last 2 wins had an enemy POS 4 sniper. Guaranteed.
Yes. Yeah, almost. That's pretty much guaranteed win, yeah. So that was good. So that's basically my game's
back to percent.
Party ranked is saved. I was 2 wins below having a percent in Divine 1, and now we're saved up to 16%. Got a 1 game cushion, so maybe get some party ranked in.
Yeah.
Adam, have you even played a game this week? Do we have anything to ask you? You've watched. What's your favourite video that you've watched this week?
9 days. 9 days it's been since that Clockwork game.
Yeah.
Won 18 and 26 with you.
Nice.
You need to get back into some bot games to get off the cobwebs.
Oh, there's no cobwebs. I'm mentally hitting creeps in my head. I don't know. I've enjoyed the Bulldogs solo ranked games.
How many has he played? I saw he had 1 vid. 5.
He's played 5 and he's 5-0.
Really? Fury every
Nature's
time.
Prophet. Yeah, Nature's Prophet every game. And
so funny.
He goes Orchid BKB every game. and it just really shows how powerful BKB is. So it's like,
That is the one nugget of information that's yet to trickle into the public domain. It's been common knowledge for 15 years.
Because he bans when he plays party games. No one's allowed to buy BKB unless they're going against Smurf stacks, or like it's like they're losing really bad and they need it. It's like one of his rules. And then when he plays solo, it's just like, I will be getting second item BKB, and then that's when the game like turns on its head and they just roll after that, and it's like,
this item's good.
This item's pretty good.
I watched OG play. I watched Seb play Nature's Prophet on OG the other day. I think, was it against Nigma? I can't remember, but the hero can farm so hard. Seb plays it like hard pos, almost plays it like pos 1, like is way top net worth. And I know it's the ult, obviously, but also just TP and with the creeps tanking, like actually farms like a monster.
When you get a little bit ahead and you've got a Fury on, I feel like it snowballs so hard because you get that license to just farm 100%. You can farm anywhere on the map. If you're ahead, you're not as scared. You just roll in. You just roll so hard. I know the game you're talking about. You had about 10k more net worth than the next person.
Yeah.
Crazy hero.
Yeah. So, speaking of Nature's Prophet, somewhat of a good segue to our first topic, which is talking about int carries, int mids, and Falcon Blade, among other things, but basically like how we're building items on these heroes. Marco, you've been playing a bunch of Co-op, some Void Spirit as well, a bit of Puck. I don't know if you played Puck?
Yeah, there's a Puck in there, and in some party games I've done Puck.
Yeah. So, something I've been thinking a lot about recently is this item build progression, because a lot of these heroes, perhaps Co-op less so, but certainly Void Spirit and Puck, have almost two angles to go down, the spellcasting angle and the sort of carry right-click angle. Before we get there, talking about the build-up up to that point, Null Talismans, Falcon Blades, even Urns and stuff like that, because of the mana regen and potential to go Spirit Vessel. Do you have any preferences on and thoughts about this build-up? Is it Nulls all the way, or have you been dabbling with Falcon Blade, or...?
Which hero? Just any mid?
Any.
So the Witchblade, the only time I would consider it is Puck. I think it can be...
Falcon Blade or Witchblade?
Oh, sorry, Falcon Blade we're talking.
Oh, yeah. Well, either. Either, I suppose.
Well, my Falcon Blade, I've never seen it on mids. I've only ever seen it on Weaver. It seems to be the ultimate Weaver item for the... It's basically like an Acquia. But yeah, I've never seen it on a mid, and I would never buy it on a mid, because I think it would delay your item timing a bit too much, whereas for the one, it's like a snowball item. It helps you farm, it gives you the mana,
low-key trolling my 4 Weaver Falcon Blade. Is that what this is?
No, pos 1 Weaver. Mason builds it every time. He's like a level 28 Weaver. I watched a Matu
No, it is
Weaver.
really good on Weaver. That's why I built it.
Yeah.
Because someone had built, already taken the urn, and then I got mercilessly flamed, and it's probably just because it was 4 position. I agree, it's not a 4 position item.
It's a Weaver item, so yeah.
It is a Weaver item, yeah.
Going for you. But for a mid, I think it's way too slow, and it's waste of gold. I think that the first item seems too big, and I see it all. I've been watching a lot of pro replays on YouTube. Very common that they will stick with brown boots, 1 null, and get that orchid really fast, or they'll get that Yules, and then they'll finish the power church or the phase. So if you then factor in our Falcon Blade, it's just delaying a key item timing for what? For no real value, because you're not farming like a 1 would.
Yeah.
I saw a Hoodwink get double Falcon Blade.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Also with the mid, you've got a lot of sustain with bottles and wands and clarities. Whereas a 1 that's just kind of in the woods, a Falcon Blade's going to be way more useful.
Yeah, and it makes sense what you say, because a lot of people go 1 null, maybe 2, and 2's pushing it, so you wouldn't want to pay the equivalent of an extra 2 nulls, It seems bad to go Falcon Blade instead of 2 nulls. Like, would you do that? I don't know. Probably not.
I think you would get more value out of the 2 nulls because of the stats, and you don't need the mana regen, and that's a massive component for like a Weaver.
Yeah, so you just get more out of 2 nulls. You get the same you get the same damage, but you're getting the int as well from null. You get 2 strength and 2 agi, which you don't get on Falcon Blade. The only difference basically is you get 175 health with Falcon Blade, and you get a bit of spell amp and int with the nulls. So maybe there's
strength from the nulls as well.
Yeah, I mean 2 strength, you get 40 HP versus 175. So
2 nulls, 80 HP. It's still something.
True, yeah, true null, yeah. That's
spell damage percent. So 2 nulls is definitely preferable. Often
one null maybe is most often preferable.
Probably is 1 null is often the case. It's very interesting watching these mids pro pubs because it is very knife edge the little differences they make in a game. So you could either go, some people do bottle null brown boots orchid, or you do see some games where it's like a 2 nulls wand bottle power treads kind of build up, which is very different, and I think it's very much a reflection on what the game, the heroes is, and it's, do I need that time in for the aggression, or do I perhaps build the nulls and power treads to keep stomping the lane in CS and to jungle a bit harder perhaps, and then get that first item, be it Witchblade Yules, or do I need to rush the Yules or the Orchid? It's very, you have very similar paths, but they can be very different.
Yeah, just to go over the Falcon Blade stats then before we put this item to bed. So Weaver, as you say, it's actually the second hero that's most builds this item, the first being Hoodwink, because I think people were just hype on the Falcon Blade when Hoodwink came out, I guess. I'm not quite sure.
I mean, they both really like the health.
No, that's true.
They're both super squish, and then spam spells so the mana works, and then the damage has value because they Geminate or Coconut bounce. So it's like all 3 components I actually really, really need. Yeah,
that's definitely true. And then beyond that, it's like you were saying, Marco, it's agi carries basically beyond that it's going to be more value for, not mids, like Mirana, Monkey King, Clinks, and Gyrocopter are the next few, so makes sense.
It's funny, if you go to the Dota 2 Gamepedia Falcon Blade, it just is like, recommended heroes: Invoker, Weaver, Nature's Prophet, Silencer, Alchemist, and Morphling. I'm like, I don't know. Alchemist is like a... That's a... Yeah. I mean, the mana regen. I guess maybe if you get that instead of Soul Ring, but no, that's a no.
Yeah, that's questionable. Looking beyond the early stages then in the null Falcon Blade universe, or as we've learned, just the null universe, Witchblades is almost this right-click route and has opened up a lot of right-click potential, particularly for a hero like Puck. I don't know how... I don't play Quap, so I don't see it, and I presume you don't because of the Orchid value, but Void Spirit as well, I suppose, is the same situation. You could maybe get a Witchblade, but you see it on Puck of those 3 the most.
So almost every game in these ranked Nature's Prophet games, Bulldog goes Orchid, BKB, Witchblade.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think because it does give attack speed and armor, right?
And damage.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's a... you would think that a third item like that, after getting 2 4K-ish items, it's like, not like you're past the time of getting it for being value, but I think it actually is a pretty decent damage item for an int hero, and like more than that, like when they would build blade mails, like it's way more damage than that.
Yeah, and it's going to you get more value from the int damage a bit later in the game anyway. To me, it's like that Crystallis pickup that used to be very common in the mid game, where it was just a very high value item. And like you say, Furion building it third, it's that momentum, just big burst of damage potential. at a very pretty relatively low cost. So yeah, I quite like that on the Fury.
Yeah,
and like Quaps sometimes you would see them go like Molineer or like go into this right click build because they can do it. Like they have, a nice attack animation and actually do decent right click damage. And I think Witchblade works on Quap if you want to go down that range. I mean, obviously you can go the more like tempo control-y or the Ags build or something like that. But if you wanted to do a right click Quap, I think Witchblade is in that build because it is very strong.
Yeah, Orchid, BKB, Witchblade could be on the cards on Quap as well.
That could be.
I have a question about Puck though. So when you do the phase shift attacks everything, does that apply Witchblade to everything or just like one thing?
It will be one thing. I don't know what it will be, and I'm not 100% sure if it will be anything. Because it seems
first target that gets hit.
Yeah, that seems most likely. Likely.
So that's less OP. Like I thought that would be really obnoxiously OP. If you're in a team fight and did that, hit like 4 heroes with the poison.
Yeah. Marco's right, it'll be the first thing you hit and then it'll go on cooldown and the other things won't hit with it.
Okay.
I definitely really like Witchblade on Puck, particularly with this phase shift attack damage build. I think 2 nulls, power treads, Witchblade, Puck is doing a lot of good right click and then follow it with, say, a blink and then another Maelstrom. I really like it. On the Quap side of things, I've watched quite a few, played quite a few. I like it, but I feel like it needs to not be a perfect Orchid game. I.e., if you're going to get really good Orchid value, it feels like you should make that bit more of an investment. And the games when I've gone Witchblade, it's been more because I feel the Orchid value is not as high. Maybe they've got some really beefy heroes where the silence component's not as make high value. I've thought, okay, I just need a lot of sustain right click, DPS from the Witchblade, etc. I'll do that. But interestingly, I've watched a few GBK Quaps, and he's never got Witchblade. Right. His most common is to rush an Orchid, then get a BKB, and then AC, and he then morphs it into a right click build. And after the AC, I think he's done Bloodthorn, or he's done Bloodthorn. I think followed it, and you've got the attack speed talent as well. I think Bloodthorn, Satanic one game, and it does feel like for a Quap, those timings of a BKB Orchid can be bigger and better than slowing it with a Witchblade.
Yeah, AC is pretty nice on Quap. Although I think I don't think you ever get Witchblade in front of Orchid. I think Orchid first, and then I think Witchblade like really synergizes with Orchid.
Just that tempo damage
and the soul burn, like it's a lot of damage.
It's tempting to try out, honestly. I think what I shouldn't have done in some of my Quaps is be a bit too defensive and go for the Yules BKB. Yeah. I do, because I've done that on Void Spirit, and that is common on Void Spirit, but Void Spirit does have a lot of Yules potential with the setup, and you're a bit more in there, so you kind of need the defensive Yules a bit more sometimes as well. Whereas, with the Quap, I feel like, again, watching these pro replays, the Orchid, just offensive possibility, and then follow it with a BKB, which then gives you that continued defensive strength, seems to be a bit better than a bit of a tepid Yules BKB.
I think it also lets you like be aggressive. Like you can blink in and BKB, and then you actually get to leverage the right clicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of before that, you like jump in, like I can't go in too close because it'll just turn in and turn on me and blow me up. Yeah. And like when Quap feels really gross is not when she's like some spellcasty like blow up combo, and then she just kind of sits there. It's like she puts out all that spell damage, and then she just sits there as a 600 range blinking right click damage machine. Like the animations on it's like a little bit worse than Nature's Prophet, but it's like it's on the level of with attack speed. There's just these daggers flying everywhere. And
that's why AC is so good. That's why AC's been built by GPK and stuff is because, like you say, Quap isn't really like a blink burst get out hero. It's not like an AM. The way you fight, it's not like anti-mage where you know you're going to get Abyssal and you're going to be able to blow someone up in Abyssal duration with Mana Void, huge Mana Void nuke. It doesn't work like that. You know, you've got to be, first of all, you've got to be careful about how you blink, just as a Quap player. And then also you want to be able to stand and hit, and sure, you have a big damage ult, but I feel like you definitely want to be standing and fighting to a certain extent. That's why that's why Blade Mail was pretty good value, why AC is pretty good value, because also the defensive capability of it. It's interesting you mentioned yours on Void Spirit, because I feel like I've had the opposite journey to you, where I have been played too defensive on some of these int heroes, particularly Void Spirit, where I would autopilot getting a Yules, and after that I would, I guess, maybe get something like the Aghanim Scepter or BKB or something, and then your offensive output is just severely limited by the fact you have Yules. And then also if you're using Yules to set up, then you don't even have the defensive capability of Yules anyway. So now I've converted to the Taco Seal and approved Orchid Deso build with treads. And it seems so much better.
Yeah.
Mainly in games where Orchid's going to be good value, and that so far has been pretty much all my games. And an Orchid is just, it's a great item in lots of games. It's going to give you kill potential on a hero. And I'm having a lot more success with it. And Puck as well has a similar choice of, rather than going down the spellcasting route where you get an early Ags, you could get Yules, and then you take the spell damage talents and the cast range and stuff like that. Alternatively, you go Blink and, well, you obviously go and Blink in the utility as well, but you go Witchblade, you can go Deso, later you go Daedalus, and you take all the right-click talents. And I personally think in a pub setting, unless it's an insanely good Dream Coil game specifically, the right clicks just feels so much nicer and lets you carry the game so much nicer. And I feel like Void Spirit is in a similar category where I just want to have late game damage. I want to be able to nuke heroes with my ult back and forth with a big crit on 25, say. And it's almost like insurance that you're not going to fall off later when you go down that route. And in a pub setting where teams aren't that clinical, especially at lower MMRs, I think that's the way to go. I'm a convert to that method.
You do convince me as well. I think I've been fortunate in a lot of my Void Spirit wins to have, the other team members very aggressive or active, and it's then felt like I don't need to be the sole damage dealer. I just need to be the tempo, make things happen, set up kills, AoE silence with Ags. But you're right. If you want to take the game more in your own hands, it feels like that Orchid, potentially Deso after route, could be is a more certain way to solo carry it, basically, and to really take the game in your own hands. And probably for a pub setting, it's better to do that. I think I've been influenced by watching DPC games, and I noticed a lot of Void Spirits go Brown Boots Yules, and so that influenced what I was doing. But again, the pro games are very different scenarios than pubs, and it's going to, like we've said before, pubs greed often wins, take it into your own hands, etc. So now you're kind of converting me back to a Void Spirit Orchid potentially.
Yep.
I feel with Puck, I think Puck definitely, for some reason, Puck, that damage route seems really sure, steadfast. I guess Puck's a bit evasive and can really get away with it, hands down. Quap, I guess it's just a bit too timid a mindset of, I need some Yule's defensive save. But actually, if you can just get a fast Orchid, fast BKB, you've then got nothing to worry about, and that's probably going to be better. It's then just a question of, do you get Orchid before that second null, before that power treads, or do you not need to rush it, or do you not want to rush it and get, say, the 2 nulls power treads? And that's it's not a critical decision to make, but obviously there's going to be an optimum path, which is going to depend on the game.
Yeah, I think another element to it on this Puck and Void Spirit is the fact that you nuke waves really, really well, so you can always recover really, really fast. So you're never going to be left wanting if you have a bad start and you want to go right click. You kind of always can, because you're just going to be able to farm like quite hard throughout the game just from nuking waves, even when you're behind. So the mindset of, I'm a bit behind, so I'll go more utility route, is maybe more of a trap than some of these other heroes. It's about what the default mindset is. My default mindset on these heroes was, I'll save myself first, and then I'll try and carry and get kills and do damage. Whereas I think flipping it in a pub setting and thinking, I want to kill them, I want to be aggressive, and then thinking after that, will I just die though? And then obviously, like some games, yours is going to be the item for sure on a lot of these, on many of these heroes, but I think you need a reason to go yours, or else you just want to go like Orchid Desert, I think.
Yeah, maybe. You need a really good reason, probably. Watching these vids, I think I've been playing a few of my mids a bit too defensive / utility orientated. Again, DPC has influenced me, whereas when I think about these mid pro games I've been watching, these are 6 or 12-minute vids, SCCC, Lena mid, GPK, Quat mid, Miracle, Hook mid, or whatever. All these mids, or these stomping mids that you see the pros do, they're always aggro. They're always very farm intensive. They're always very farmed. They're not playing a playstyle of, I'm a mid and I'll go utility and kind of set up kills, whatever. They're going full farm, like, heavy. And if you've got really good farm, you'll get lots of items and get lots of work done. So that's how you win a pub. And it's, they're really good players, but you can still take the same lessons to our own pubs and go a bit more farm, aggro, late game, as opposed to soft and defensive. Yeah.
Another item that I see a fair bit, especially in DPC, on Puck, is Urn into Spirit Vessel, and I played it one game because I was against a Huskar, and it was good because I was against a Huskar, but I don't want to. I didn't come out of it thinking, man, I really want to build Spirit Vessel and Earn on this Puck hero, because for the reasons you say, it delays you a lot. You know, even just Earn is 840 gold, and sure, it gives you 1.5 mana regen, but it's just felt gross, and I just didn't like it.
Yeah, but Thompson had that phase of buying Earn, null Earn every game on his mids.
Yeah.
And often it was a Puck. And I think he skipped bottles sometimes as well. Yeah, looking at the damage, it's 300? 8 times 25?
I've watched, Henry Dota, the controversial Dota 2 figure, but he plays a pretty good Puck, and I've watched him build pretty much every item on the hero. He's gone like first item Manta style. And like made it work. That it's actually good. And one of the common ones is Earn. It can be really stompy.
Yeah.
And he can go Earn and not like finish. It's just leveraging the advantage. Like maybe you have 800 gold and that's what you just do then, and then it lets you get like 3 support kills or something.
And
then you leverage that into other things. Like Medallion, he's gone like Solar Crest, Deso. Like late game, you can pick up the Rapier and kind of be Puck's version of the Ricky. The Battle Fury Rapier madness. You can kind of do that with Puck, with like Rapier and Octarine.
Oh, totally. I've had quite a few games recently on Puck where I've gone Deso, Daedalus, Rapier. I've had maybe 3 games in the past 2 weeks where that's happened with the Dreamcore Rapid Fire talent. I actually got a Rampage the other day with that. It's absolutely absurd late game, and it's almost so absurd that it reminds me of...
if you get Arcane Blink... Whew.
Yeah, I haven't done that one yet. So the one I haven't done is Arcane Blink with yours with the talent, because you can blink Dream Coil, Phase Shift, the rapid fire's going. If you've got Arcane Blink, 50% CDR, so you use yourself at the end of phase shift, and by the time you come down again, phase shift's off cooldown, you just phase shift again. Nice. So I haven't done that one, but that's like the ultimate combo. And the combo's so good that I think it's another reason to go the right-click route on Puck, given the choice, because if you get to that point, it's almost like Tiny Hags with Daedalus back in the day with Echo Saber, and you just a win condition if you get heroes in it. So. Yeah,
it's like phase shift is one of the most frustrating spells to deal with. It's not like, OD Astral or Shadow Realm from Dark Willow. Like, it's so much more obnoxious for whatever reason, and now it's got damage tacked onto it.
Yeah.
And just like the blinks and the orbs and the jaunts and the yules and then like I don't know what the combination was. It's probably something like Octarine plus Arcane Blink, and maybe you had an Arcane Rune or something. But I've seen a video where it's 100% uptime on phase shift, and they just pressed phase shift under their enemy tier 4s and just took the whole base.
Wow.
Without ever coming out.
Oh my God.
It's just like, how do you deal? I mean, you can't deal with it. You're actually just not on the map.
You can't set up on phase shift if they have blink ready. Like, if you black hole over where they phase shift, they can still blink out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have been fucked by... Oh, actually, I was playing a Quap. But I feel like I've played a Puck and been fucked by the Pit Lord Atos routes. Because it's really... in the moment, hard to know what you can or can't do, because you can phase shift whilst rooted.
Yeah. You can't
But then
jaunt.
you can't jaunt or waning rift. So then you can screw up your, say, orb. You might use it too early. Or things, or kind of come out of phase shift too early. I think you can W out and then you get hit by the root, and it's so confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
So Pit Lord's still got a lot going for him. Atos Greaves, fucking guaranteed wins. But outside of that,
you need
the
like
hero
Abyssal
seems
Blades.
to be flying.
Yeah.
Also, they nerfed Waning Rift. Not Raining. Dream Coil. Like cooldown.
Yeah.
But at level 1, it's still 6 seconds. Like, that is so much time for a level 1 ult.
To just be hitting someone. Witchblade, 2 nulls, power treads. You're killing any position that's not like a 1 bristleback. Exactly,
yeah. Any side lane where the enemy cores aren't 100% HP and tanky, and you don't have, and you have low damage heroes in your lane, it's almost a free kill. That's what I love so much about Puck. It solved my mid lane problem where I rotate and do nothing and fall behind.
Yeah.
Because now I just dream coil and it's easy.
They already have the built-in mobility, so it's one of the best counter initiate heroes to TP in with, because you're like, even if they start to run away, you catch up, then you dream coil 2 people, and then the rest of your team has 6 seconds to walk over and start doing something. It's really strong, and I appreciate that they nerfed the cooldown, so it wasn't just like it wasn't like Lena Laguna levels of being able to be used, but like, dang, it's still so long that early into the game.
I've just remembered there was a game I was Puck and the enemy had a Pit Lord that caught me out a couple times because I was a bit too relaxed with my game, and it was a game where we had an anti-mage, 10k net worth, highest net worth, free game, and now anti-mage, the game's over to you. We're all like stomping it. Now anti-mage, finish the game for us. And obviously, I mean, that was just such a salty loss because it was literally like it was an anti-mage with 10k net worth above the enemy. Oh man! But I remember that game getting caught out by this Pit Lord because I remember playing a bit too relaxed. Like, oh, anti-mage is going to carry us, and obviously not.
Well, if Pit Lord has Atos and he gets Pit on you, then Atos is you. Then the second Pit route comes in. If you orb so you get caught in Pit of Malice and you orb, you can't. There's no opportunity to jaunt to that because you'll
even
be
with the level 4
rooted.
phase shift.
So I don't know how the.
I guess we need to check how long his route lasts then.
So I think maybe what could happen is you get rooted, you Q, he goes to Atos you and you phase shift dodge the Atos, then you come out and then you might be able to jaunt to it.
Well, you can jaunt though whilst you're in phase shift. So you just need to be in phase shift. Malice route finish and then jaunt out.
Yeah. But the point is that you'd have to dodge the Atos while still rooted. So you'd have to phase shift to dodge Atos. Yeah. Then at the end, nearer the end of the phase shift active, when you're no longer rooted by the Pit of Malice, then you'd have an opportunity to jaunt out, I think. That's one for the demo. But yeah,
looking at the numbers, 1.8 Malice route, 2 second Atos route. So if you get hit by both, you're probably rooted for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you phase shift, it's 3.25 max. So if you don't dodge the Atos, your phase shift doesn't matter.
No.
You're rooted for the full duration. So yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
So it's critical to dodge the Atos projectile if you want to live. If you don't, you're fucking dead.
And not only dodge the... Well, I suppose you want to dodge the Atos projectile and then just spam jaunt, so that as soon as that window arises, you'll be out.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Any other thoughts on these sort of int mid laners, int carries, and building them? Shiva's Guard, shout for Shiva's Guard as a right-click item, because I feel like that's a slightly misunderstood item. In the sense that it provides right-click because of the int. At least me, personally, I think of it as a sort of defensive, almost utility item, because it's an aura and it slows and it reduces regen or whatever.
Yeah, I've always been a massive fan. Like you say, 30 int is 30 damage, 15 armor is a lot of armor, and it slows the enemy's attack speed, so that's good. Having watched all these GPK material, it seems like offensively, AC is going to do more work because you're getting attack speed. I think the attack speed you get from AC will be more effective damage than 30 int because your base damage is already so high, and then you're reducing the enemy armor, so that's more effective damage. So, and then it's buffing your team, whatever. So I think offensively you are better off with the AC if you're on a quad.
Yeah,
but I do love a Shiva's.
I love a Shiva's versus Tinker for the vision. That's what I love it for. I love going BOT, having travels and Shiva's on Lena, particularly, and just hunting Tinker with a Shadowblade. That's my jam right there. Let's talk a bit about Sanj and Yasha and the changes to Satanic that has left Sanj in quite a nice position. A lot of carries are building second item SMY where they haven't in the past. Troll Warlord is a classic example. Battle Fury SMY. PA's been going SMY a bit, which is unusual. A lot of these heroes, Terrorblade, SMY is becoming more popular, even Juggernaut. And the reason being because, well, there's many reasons. I suppose the most obvious is that they took away status resist from Satanic. So now Satanic's not a core 6-slot carry item.
Yeah.
I don't know what else there is to say about this. Just buy SMY, I guess. The stocks are rising. Is this something that you've tried? Is status resist just that OP that Sanj is just the only way to get it now and it's just OP?
I think you want to be able to get it because the alternative is, say you're a POS 1, it's BKB. Say post Battle Fury, am I looking at a BKB because I need that magic immunity, or can I get away with just a bit of health regen amp and status resistance to keep me going, such as I'm a troll? And if you can, then the value from Yasha, then the Yasha gets buffed when it turns into Sanjin Yasha, and you're getting the strength a little bit as well, and a bit of defensive bits and bobs. It is really desirable.
Yeah, 25% status resistance is a lot.
30% lifesteal amp, 30% health regen amp. Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, especially on Troll, Ursa, anybody that has a casual Morbid mask. I mean, this is insane. Yeah,
I was about to say you need some sort of lifesteal, I suppose, either from a talent or from Morbid mask. Yeah. So 30%. So where's Morbid Mask? Let me find this. There we are. So Morbid Mask is 15%. So what does it go up to? 20%, I guess.
18%, I guess.
Yeah, 18, something like that. Yeah,
I think an issue I've done sometimes with POS 1 is the BKB can be too slow, and it doesn't give. Yeah, it gives you this big one-off fighting potential, but if you don't use it, with that power spike of finishing it and get a big team fight win, then your farm game and snowball game is going to be much weaker than had you got the Yasha, which is 2k, very cost effective, snowballed into the Sanjin Yasha and just snowballed farm. Don't try and force the fight just because you've got 10-second BKB. Wait for the great fight to appear. It feels like that route often is a bit more reliable because you're not, having to make a big BKB appearance work. You can just continue the snowball, continue the farm. Even just movement speed from Yasha goes underrated. You're getting around the map faster. It genuinely makes a big difference. Getting around fights faster. It's very small stuff, but Yasha into Sanjin Yasha is really value.
Yeah.
And I know I say get BKB, in some games maybe you do need to go Battlefield BKB, but I think typically for POS 1s these days, you can get a BKB third. I think that is more common for POS 1. POS 2, get it second.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
I'm glad they got rid of Satanic status resist, because it was really obnoxious when you stacked.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Sanjin Yasha with Satanic, and then if you were an Ursa, that naturally got it. And then, what's that tier 3 item? Titan Sliver.
Yeah.
It was just like too much stuff. But it's nice that there's one item that provides
It's just Sanj now, so S and Y, K and Y, K and S in Heaven Halsbud.
And then that leaves us in the weird position. First of all, is there any love for Kaya and Sanj on Quap? Is that just too trash?
Sounds trash.
Why does
that hero I've never seen really do that is OD.
Yeah, OD does like a Kaya.
But that was not this version of OD. It was like a while ago. But I feel like Kaya and Sanj is one of the least picked up 4K items. Like, it might be the least popular 4K and up item.
Other than Helm of the Dominator 2.
Oh my god.
No one even knows it's in the game, yeah.
I think Helm of the Dom 2 might have more meme potential and get picked up more, but I can't remember the last time I've seen a Kaya and Sanj in a game.
So Tinker builds Kaya Sanj, because Tinker goes Kaya, and then we'll just take the survive potential on the Sanj, so that's the only hero where I feel like it's not core, but it's somewhat common.
I think Tinker, the 16% spell damage, so Tinker likes Kaya, and then Kaya Sanj buffs the Kaya. I think that's a big part for Tinker as well. I can't really think of any POS 2s which care for the Sanj component, that, like you say, the lifesteal and the mana spell steal ampy stuff and status resistance just doesn't feel like it's what the 2 needs.
Like, if anything, it's it's a Nature's Prophet item, but he can build so many other things that are so much better.
Yeah,
that's fair. So where does that leave us with Satanic then? This item that used to be super core because of the stat resistance. You didn't even really need the active Unholy Rage. Now it almost feels like you're only buying this item if you know the active's going to be value for your hero, right? Are you really going to spend 5k just for 25 damage and 55 damage and 25 strength and 25% lifesteal?
I agree. I think it's now even later game item, whereas in the past you would want to get it at the end of the mid game, say, for that status resistance synergy. But now it's more, if it's the late game and if fights are lasting long enough and you're not just blowing up or things like this, then you're gonna enjoy the strength and damage and sustain.
Yeah, I've only seen it on a Terrorblade that is gonna get value. Long fights, right? Has Sunder, saves itself with Sunder, gets low again, Satanic full health, dealing a truckload of damage. You need to deal a ton of damage as well to make it value, because you don't want to just pop Satanic, be kited, and then killed again. Do you know what I mean? You need to actually kill heroes while your active's going along, so they don't just sort of kill you again after your Satanic's run out. And I saw it on a Gyrocopter as well, for the same reason. Obviously, Gyro does a ton of damage, gets the active off, and the active's going to be value. So That's
also
where the
makes like
item source-
Terrorblade Illusions more tanky. Like it's
That's
you know,
true, yeah.
value from that perspective. But yeah, it's like mostly an active thing now. What did they like compensate? They made it more attack damage when they got rid of the status resist.
Yeah, so 7.28, the attack damage went from 25 to 45, and then in 28B, it's now 55. So it's a decent buff to your attack damage. And I've seen GPK Quap again. He's finished his games with Satanic, and if you've got a lot of attack speed, 55 damage is sizable. So,
and it's also only 50-50 in cost, which is on the low end of like the upper tier of items.
Yeah,
it's
not,
definitely
it's not like some 6K, 7K item.
Yeah.
In the past, it could have been a fourth item, whereas now it's pretty much a fifth or sixth item.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair enough.
Strength Blink is better.
Strength Blink.
Like,
let's go.
Yeah, it's like right, if you're gonna get a Reaver, you want to Strength Blink it and not Satanic it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Expensive. 6.8k. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Overwhelming Blink.
I mean, if you're a Blink initiator already,
it feels like the active of you slow people. 50%
it's so good.
Slow.
It's so good.
That's quite a lot.
Have you ever played with it?
I haven't. No.
It's so strong. Also, it's a farming item.
Yeah,
You
that's
like
true.
You like basically one shot the wave.
I need to get on these blinks. I haven't really done any of them. Swift Blink, Arcane Blink, or Overwhelming Blink. I've been wanting to do like a Juggernaut with Swift Blink and Ags, because I think looks very fun. But I haven't really had a chance to give any of them a go.
I've only done Swiftblade Ursa, which is a nice one because you do like the blink. And I've been seeing more Ursa's getting blinks earlier now, rather than the old school days when it was just run at people with Bash or Aftershock. It seems like Battle Fury Blink is not uncommon, and then the fact you can follow it up with Swift Blink in the late game is nice.
Marco, you built Swift Blink Juggernaut in our game against Wagamama.
Oh yeah, that was good. Jug loves it.
I know you've blocked out that game.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that one.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on anything we talked about? Building carries?
Scotty Puck is cool too.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
That does look cool, yeah. Snowballs everywhere. Mjolnir, Puck and Gleipnir Puck. I actually really don't like Gleipnir Puck. Because I just don't think Atos, like spending 2.7 on Atos, like I know it gives you 20 int, but I just don't, I'm not feeling that. I don't like Gleipnir Puck. Tell you what is on the rise and seriously worries me, because it's the most oppressive thing, and I already hate this hero with an absolute passion.
I'm not sure who this is.
Gleipnir Arc Warden is coming.
Fair enough.
And I hate it so. It's the grimmest thing ever. It's awful. Because obviously Maelstrom core on the hero, and then Mjolnir, you don't even really need Mjolnir that much. You just need the Maelstrom, and you're going to be building into a lot of damage later anyway. Gleipnir for the lockdown on the clone as well. Like, heroes try and kill you, and you just bubble and Gleipnir them and just start clicking, and I just can't with Arc Warden. I want this hero to be removed from the game.
I've lost 2 Arc Warden games recently, which is really triggering because I think that hero's trash. One of them was mind-blowing though, because I was Quap, and I was doing really well, but then I kind of threw 2 deaths to the Arc Warden. One of which was I do this kind of blink, all initiation, all my stuff on him, thinking I'm going to be able to blow him up, but he gets his ult off and just kills me. Okay. And then I look at the hero, we're about 10 minutes in the game, and it's got 1.7k HP with a Wraith Band and the talent.
Yeah.
I was seriously blown away that I need to check how much the talent gives. But literally, it was a Wraith Band, nothing else. The talent's 200 HP at level 10. I mean, oh my god. It must have some crazy strength gain. There's no way it should be that.
Yeah. 2.8 strength gain. It's its highest stat gain is strength. The hero's dumb. I hate Arc Warden.
I think it's shit. It's just so annoying.
You think it's bad? I think it's good.
I think it's... I think it's bad. I think it can get rolled over.
It can get
and
rolled
I have
over,
rolled it over in games before. I think in the safe lane it is bad because it doesn't get the levels, and I think its stat gains are very strong.
Yeah.
And it loves levels, obviously.
The thing I hate about the Arc Warden is just get level 6 or not even level 6. It's just the fact that the hero is sort of really strong laner as well that I don't like. It's really, really weak to ganks in the mid game. That's the weakest point of Arc Warden. You know, you run it over in the mid game. That's like how you want to play against it. But the laning's really strong, and the late game's really just stupidly strong. You know, the hero doesn't show on the map, and it's got this unkillable clone getting kills. I just can't be bothered. And every time I die in the lane, I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. This hero should be bad in lane. That's how balance works. Please make it bad in lane. So, yeah.
I get most triggered by the high ground pushes when he bubbles the buildings.
Yeah.
I had that. Our Wraith King, I'm putting the game on him. The rest of the team did stellar. We should have won, in my eyes, but it went a bit late and Arc Warden went out of hand. The Wraith King didn't jump on the Arc Warden once, and when you're able to have the Arc Warden sit deep with bubbles around fucking racks, and it's not dead because you kind of initiated on someone else, it's game losing, and it's sad.
Yeah, that's fair.
Annoying hero.
Yeah, I think is that what we're leaving it on? Arc Warden's an annoying hero. Have a final whistle. See you next week. I think I'm happy to leave with that message.
Honestly, I'd rather a Brood appear than an Arc Warden.
You'd rather play against a Brood than an Arc
Warden? I'd rather play against a Brood than against Arc Warden, yes.
Even though I think...
Just that style of gameplay. Like, I just cannot handle that level of, like, double everything and the bubbles, and, like, you can't get up to him, and he's got 12 items, and if you didn't build the right heroes, or, like, if you didn't, you know, like, Spirit Breaker, or, like, you know, Wraith King, or someone that just jumps in there.
Yes.
It's just over.
I'd rather see a Brood or a Huskar killing my tier 2 at 15 minutes than have not seen an Arc Warden for half an hour in a game.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather have that, genuinely.
Oh. Yeah, because with the Arc Warden, he sits deep all game. If you don't win the game, if you don't kill him, you don't take buildings fast enough, you will lose. But say someone like a Brood, if you don't, like we talked about before, if you don't go and feed the Brood purposefully, and just kind of chillax and go a bit late, I think Brood's really manageable.
Yeah.
Even though it is cheesy and corny, and the losses aren't as painful either.
Oh, yeah, it's just like or like Tinker. You know, I'd rather play against a Brood than a Tinker or an Arc Warden. I put those on the same level because of the sheer being everywhere. And
where does Meepo fall into this? Because obviously I'm on the other side of the Meepo cheese.
I'd rather play against a Meepo than a Brood. I think Meepo's pretty easy to play against.
Yeah, Meepo is pretty bad at the moment.
Just it's really straightforward on how you should confront it. You know, sometimes Brood is like just everywhere, goes over the high ground, you're like, oh no. But usually you can catch out a Meepo. Or like an average lineup should be able to do something to a Meepo.
Yeah. I think so. Meepo is one of those where maybe this is biased from my perspective as a Meepo picker that's played a lot of games, but Meepo's the one hero that I almost feel like is the most free win against some lineups. If you give me a lineup with some storm mids, anti-mage safe lane, and I don't know, some off lane that I also don't care about, some non-AoE off lane, I don't know, some Wind Ranger off lane, or whatever. I'm sure there's genuine off laners that Meepo just doesn't care about as well. Like Nature's Prophet, for example. A game like that, I actually think you have like zero chance to win. But I feel any lineup against a Brood, and pretty much any lineup against even Tinker and Arc Warden, if you play it very well, even if it's a good Tinker game, good Arc Warden game, you can still win. So Meepo doesn't feel as bad when I lose against Meepo, because sometimes I just feel like there's very little we can do with our lineup. Whereas Arc Warden, I always come out of an Arc Warden lost feeling like we could have won if we'd just done stuff differently.
Yeah, I think that's right. It seems like the cheese factor of Meepo hasn't diminished, whereas it feels like your Huskars and Broods, the cheese factor, where it could just be like, oh, this game's done, isn't as potent these days. I think the pace of the game kind of thing, where you can't just win a game in 20.
Yeah, they've made changes as well to do that. Like Huskar and Brood have been changed a bit, so it's not as ridiculous.
Yeah, like you say, Meepo can just totally shit on some heroes to make it free win.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Join us again next week. We'll be back to discuss more Dota, and we'll be back to cry about our games and about heroes we don't like more. Yeah, sorry. We'll be back to celebrate and pop some champagne live on the podcast as we celebrate our 10 greens in a row, flying party rank style. But until then, have a final whistle.